morning. Oh, come on. Good morning. I got that from you, Sister Cal. I got that from you. My name is Alfonso Wyatt, and I am so happy to be here. I've been here at the close, and I've been a closing speaker, or opening speaker. I've been any kind of speaker that I've been asked to partake. And I am so happy to be here at the BigTent. I want to say thank you. I don't know Jan, but Jan, thank you for getting me here. Mary is here. You give my regards to my brother who is healing and recuperating. And I want to thank Sandra over there who hooked me up with Search some years ago. But I'm here on a mission. I'm here to make sure that we get everybody into the big tent as possible. It's not a little tent. It couldn't be a little tent. They came to Texas, and from what I heard, everything is big in Texas. Yep. Even our tents. We got a work to do, beloved, and it's starting right now. We got a work to do, and you have come from all over this great country. Can I hear some of the folk from the East Coast? Are you with me? Ooh. Can I hear people from down south? Are you with me? Can I have some people in Midwest? Are you with me? Huh? We have some people from the West Coast, the Southwest. All right. And around the world. Been around the world, and ay. Well, I'm here just for a little bit to drop some knowledge because we need this tent. We need this tent, beloved, because there are some folk who've been locked out the tent. There are some folk that have not been welcomed into the tent. So our job here is to make sure that this is an inclusive engagement. Our job is to make sure that those who've been locked out, put out, kept out, or whatever, are brought into the tent. This is not just for some people. This is not for lucky people. This is not for people who are invited, but this is about a call to action. This action is bigger than each and every one of us, and it's going to take all of us to make it heard. So let me make some noise. Let me hear you. Oh, it's feeling pretty good in the big tent. There's nothing like coming into a tent and ain't nothing happening. There's nothing like coming into a tent and we can't move forward. So I got some thoughts for you, and I want to knock it just like this. We got to make sure that we are on point. We've got to make sure that we go. Let me talk to the adults. We got to make sure you go to all of the workshops. Don't work at shopping. Yeah, that always gets somebody. We need to recognize that in this tent there is spirit, there's energy, there's dreams, as the little young children sang, there's power and possibilities. It's all in this room. But there's also problems. And problems call for problem solvers. We don't need to just rue the day and twiddle our thumbs and say, what can we do? We've got power, we've got thought, we've got action, and we have possibility in this tent. Can I hear from somebody that understands that? Peter said, new, bold, and audacious. That's why I like the brother. If he was here, he would have been right there with the cheerleaders, and I would have tried to get a hula hoop around me. New, bold, and audacious. You can't get something different by doing the same thing. We've got to do something new, and under this tent, I believe that we're going to find out what that new thing is. I believe that under this tent, that some folk are going to make connections that's going to not just change, but radically alter, transform their lives, transform their thinking. You know, when they told me it was a big tent, I thought it was a revival. But you know what? I'm not far off, because we're going to revive hope under here. We're going to revive possibilities under here. We're going to revive those who need to be revived. It's a big tent. It is a big tent. We needed a big tent to make that happen. It is a big tent. And beloved, this cannot be business as usual, because business has become quite unusual. It's going to call for each and every one of us to lift arms. I'm so glad to see young people. I can't tell you how many youth retreats or youth openings or conferences I've been and can't find not one young person. It's so good to see so many young people in this room. I'm going to get back to you in just a minute. Stay tuned because Fonzo coming back for everybody. We just heard from our BigTent leader. My brother Peter can't be here, but I would concur with him to say that we're at a turning point. We're at a fork in the road. And I believe that this BigTent and this gathering of leaders from various aspects of the community, youth programs, nonprofits, civic groups, government, and business, all coming together, and I cannot leave out the faith community, all coming together to figure out how can we come together to tie up that lion. Oh yeah, when spiders unite, they can tie up a lion. When we come together and get on one accord, when there's no big eyes or little U's, I'm starting to feel good up here. If there's no big eyes and little U's, that we don't make descriptions and tell people you cannot come into this tent. I remember after 9/11, there was a report that African American children were beating up Muslim children. I said to myself, and this is where my tent was enlarged, I said to myself, this cannot be. And I called a peace vigil in my church. And I asked for young people from all around the city and concerned adults to come so that we can begin to work together. And we had, just as you saw, we had young people performing. We had spoken word, throwing down science and knowledge through verbal communications. We had a youth choir too. But I told the young people when it was my turn to speak that children of oppressed people will never become the oppressors of other people's children. It was a word that came from the heart, and there was a woman there from the New York Times, and that word in that peace vigil, in that small tent, went out all around the world. I want you to know that you can make a difference. I refuse to live one day of my life feeling that I cannot make a difference. I refuse to stay in a place where people want to get hung up on what can't work, what won't work, what we tried to get work, but won't get up and do work. We need a vision and not division. We need a vision and not division. I can probably go on the road with that. We need a vision, not division. Oh, yeah. Woo. Excuse me. Oh, Lord. Rev just left the building, but I'm back. We need this vision. I'm down here in Houston on a mission, and this is not a job for me. For some that this is a job, I can see why you're upset. I can see why you're looking around and wondering what's going to happen next. This is a mission. I've been on a mission for all of my adult life. I've been on a mission to make sure that every child's dreams and every child's possibilities come to fruition. This is not a job, this is a calling, and it called each and every one of you. Adults, it called you, huh? Oh, that sounds kind of weak to me. It called you out of wherever and whatever circumstances you were in. And now perhaps when you were young, don't you remember when you were young? Don't you remember perhaps when you were not invited into somebody's tent? You know, Click's been around for a long time.